Hello and thanks for watching another episode of ARFCOM News, your twice-weekly dose of the finest 2A propaganda. Today I want to begin by telling you something which may fundamentally change the way you view the world. People are often treated differently based on their position in life or their appearance. If you already knew that, it's only because you are over the age of 6 and have ever read a book at some point in your life. This man is a sports ball player. I can tell because he's wearing a sports ball shirt. I don't know if he gets a lot of home runs per yard, but I do know that if police knew he was an important sports ball player before they shook him down for having an ill-shaped object in his pocket in New Orleans during Mardi Gras, they might have been less likely to try it. Is that really what passes for RS in New Orleans? In any case, they walked up and asked if he had a permit, and he admitted he did not, so reasonable suspicion never came into play. Folks, never answer questions from police without a lawyer present. But here's where it gets downright silly. The day before Malik Neighbors appeared in court, the DA's office didn't refuse one single gun charge. But on the day Neighbors was scheduled, they refused to charge in at least 15 cases involving guns, including one which involved an undocumented full-auto handgun. To add yet another facet of strange to the story, several of the dismissed cases were filed by the same arresting officer who gave pretty much minimal details in his essentially copy-pasted reports and failed to provide a description of the firearms which were seized, including that full auto shooty boy back a minute ago. Any way you slice this, a whole lot of people are not getting treated equally. What do you guys think though? Did Neighbors get off unfairly just because he's a sports ball player, or were these gun charges BS in the first place? Now, we can't keep making quality 2A propaganda like this without our sponsors though, so before I get to that story about the bill that would let drunk cops carry guns, let's pay some bills. Today's video is sponsored by TNVC.com, who believes God's plaid belongs on all the things, and by Winchester. Check out their new clip packs, 30 rounds of spicy M193 or 855 loaded on clips with a handy loading spoon. As always, you'll find links down there in the doobly-doo.
Hey, you! Do you want to see in the dark like a superhero? TNVC.com is your source for the finest night vision devices and accessories to make you the bump in the night.
Hey, did y'all hear about Donald Trump promising to start caring about gun rights if he gets reelected?
Seventh, I will protect the right of self-defense everywhere it is under siege, and I will sign concealed carry reciprocity.
I don't know, he seems kinda sincere, because he was such a vocal advocate for gun rights in his first term.
But I can change.
Other key parts for his plan to end crime and restore law and order are to strengthen qualified immunity and require local LE agencies to implement stop and frisk policies if they want to get federal funding. Look, regardless of how you feel about Trump, I want to warn you, this is a bad idea.
What's a bad idea?
We don't need the federal government dictating what the conditions should be to get a state permit. If Trump, or any other president for that matter, had actually been interested in gun rights, he could have directed his attorney general to file a lawsuit against every single state which refuses to honor out-of-state permits on full faith and credit grounds in the U.S. Constitution. For that matter, we could have had a decision like the Bruin ruling decades ago if any previous administration had sued states with discriminatory permitting schemes under due process and equal protection clauses of the U.S. Constitution. And no man should have to genuflect before the altar of the state for permission to defend his own life. Now, I know Trump is a divisive character, and yes, the justices he appointed handed down the Bruin decision we were just talking about, and they will be instrumental in future court cases. But does anyone really believe this? Keep it civil down there in the comments. I know you will. Should cops carry guns while drunk? Is this guy literally on pills right now? What the hell does any of this have to do with Tennessee's campus carry bill? I'm not sure if I can really give you a satisfying answer to any of those questions. Well, maybe one of them. Joey here is the sponsor for SB 827, which is supposed to allow adults to carry on college campus and off-duty cops to carry on primary school grounds. Hensley said it wasn't actually his intention to make it legal for cops to carry drunk and blamed it on the way the legal department wrote the bill up and said they're going to amend it. Neither the original text nor the amended text were available on Legiscan when I searched prior to this recording. At the same time, the volunteer state is also considering a separate bill which would allow concealed carry permit holders to carry any firearms, not just handguns. Colonel Matt Perry with the Tennessee Highway Patrol admitted in a public hearing he's uncomfortable with citizens having access to the same kind of firearms he uses our tax money to buy. And Politicritters twittered about the usual breathless concerns of blood in the streets. And just for the record, here's a look at the utter pandemonium here in Phoenix, where it's been legal for permit holders to carry a full-auto AK openly or concealed since dirt was new, and for non-permit holders for over a decade. As you can see, the streets are just flooded with hordes of blood-crazed raiders, and firefights for gasoline spark up every few minutes. Okay, so which of you operator-tier combat athletes did this? Guns.com published this pic from the High Point Warranty Center of one of their 9mm carbine barrels with 35 bullets lodged in it. The fun part is the reason the customer sent this in is because he was unhappy with the accuracy he was getting. If you're wondering how this happens, well, it's caused because a squib load was fired. That's where a primer ignites, it pushes the bullet into the barrel, but the gunpowder either doesn't burn at all or not completely, and the bullet gets lodged somewhere in the barrel. When that happens, you're going to experience a pop with no kick, and the gun will likely not cycle the next round into the chamber. If this ever happens to you, make sure you keep the gun pointed in a safe direction while you remove the magazine, then lay the gun down facing downrange and wait a few minutes before you unload it. It's rare, but it is possible for powder to suddenly begin burning even a few minutes after attempting to fire, and you don't want the bolt open when it goes off. This guy was no quitter though, and his persistence allowed High Point an opportunity to show off how absolutely dummy thick and beefy their guns are. By all rights, just one live round fired with a bore obstruction could let all the magic zoom juice out the sides of the barrel in a way that would definitely not be boring for the shooter. Of course, High Point's warranty is as legendary as their style is infamous, and they repaired the gun. Now for your moment of zen.
Guards! Welcome to Gun Thought.
Hey friend, do you like pews and pew-related things? Do you want to help us keep delivering you pure, uncut American pew propaganda at the low, low price of $3.99? We literally couldn't pay the bills without our sponsors, so do us a solid and get yourself something nice from them. You deserve it. I love you.